Welcome
Alright,
to
so hold up.
welcome to the first episode. No hold up. Let's go.
Okay, no hold up. Welcome to the first episode, everybody. Cheers, salud.
It's kind of exciting.
This is very exciting. We've been talking about this for a while. We're just trying to get together and come up with a way to just share our stories, and so I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, really, I'm trying to get some more social media content. So
I know I've been telling you for a minute, man, but you're
really
slacking on that.
Really, the only reason I'm here. So
yeah, so cool, man. Well, we're glad we're here, and we're here to give you insight into our lives, a little bit about what makes us tick, and then we'll see where this conversation goes.
Yeah, man. So tell me about yourself. Tell me how you got into the industry of real estate.
Shoot, man. So it's kind of a weird story, but I am local Idahoan, born and raised. I went to college here at Boise State as well. Shout out to Ashton Genty. Hopefully he wins the Heisman. But after college, after I got my marketing degree, I jumped into real estate, but as a marketing leader at a real estate brokerage here locally. And after working there for about 2 years or so, I saw that there were agents that did above and beyond work and that did amazing jobs with their clients, and that really inspired me because I like to help people and I like to also help in my community as well. So I decided after I left that job to get my license, and people were always telling me maybe you should think about it.
How long were you at that job before you decided to leave?
I was there for about a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Okay, so you had already made it a decent time there.
Yes, a decent time at that business, and then also just understanding the behind the scenes of marketing yourself in the real estate industry. I got to see that, and so that also made me more comfortable when I became an agent, that I can show off a little bit of who I am and stuff.
But let's back up though. You said you're from Idaho?
Yeah.
You were born here?
Yeah.
You're legit born here?
Yeah. I'm not a transplant. I'm just kidding.
I was born in Cali, but I moved here when I was 5. So
right on.
I still claim Idaho. I can't claim Cali because if I tell anybody I'm from LA, they'll be like, "Bro, you lived there till you were 5. You're not from LA."
You're not from LA. You're from Idaho now.
But so you were born here where?
I was born in Nampa, but I grew up in the Garden City area. Then I moved out to Eagle for most of my young age. So
Garden City area. Tell me about that, because people growing up from when I started living here my entire life,
right,
Garden City was always looked at like car dealerships and trailer parks.
Right.
That's what I always heard of Garden City. So tell me what your experience was like in Garden City and how it's developed to what it is today. Yeah,
living there was great. I met a lot of my childhood friends that I still hang out with to this day in that area. A lot of people that I still talk to this day. So what I learned from being there was just there was a community there that I learned and just grew up with. So those are my childhood friends. And
what are your thoughts on the gentrification of Garden City and how they're changing?
They're definitely improving the area with pumping it with new businesses and trying to make it a more desirable area to be at. So I can definitely see both sides.
Yeah, now it's breweries and wineries up and down that road.
Yeah, I know.
We're replacing the car dealerships with wineries.
Yeah, I mean that may not be a bad thing, right? But you never know. It just depends on what the people want. But no, I definitely like that it's becoming more modern in areas, which is nice. But yeah.
You've definitely seen all over the valley then, because you said you were born in Caldwell.
No, Nampa.
Born in Nampa.
Yeah.
Grew up in Garden City for a little while.
Right.
And then where'd you go to high school at?
Eagle High School. So
you went to Eagle.
I moved to Eagle when I was 13. So I lived in Garden City up until then.
Talk about an upgrade going from Garden City to Eagle.
Yeah, it was not quite, but it was definitely a fun adjustment, moving from going to schools and still Ada, but Boise.
People are gonna hear this and think I'm talking shit on Garden City. That's not at all what I'm doing.
But no, it was great though. I still talk to a lot of people that I met at Eagle High School. So it is what it is. I find myself always connecting with people at any area that I go to. So
yeah. So I didn't move at all, man. I grew up in Homedale, Idaho.
Yeah, let's talk about Homedale. Small town Homedale. Let's figure that out.
Population of about 2,000 people.
Yeah.
The home of the Trojans, for sure.
Yeah. I think they went to state, no?
Or this last year, I think we made state in football. Yeah, we've always got off and on, we've got pretty decent football teams. They have other sports out there, but honestly, they're pretty passionate. I mean, it's a small town, Idaho, just like it is anywhere else, man. They're really passionate about their football. Yeah, man, I went K through 12 out there. K through 12 in Homedale. Graduated there, took my chance up at U of I, and then transferred down to Boise State. And I've been all over the valley. I've lived in Boise. Now I bought my house in Nampa, so that's where I reside now. Right on. But I've been all over the Treasure Valley, love living here, man. I've been here for 30 plus years. I don't know that I'll go anywhere at this point.
Yeah, so
maybe one day, man. We're gonna buy some land over there in Cabo San Lucas.
Maybe.
That's how since my dad was a Mexican national, got his citizenship in the United States. You can't be a property owner the way I understand it. You can't be a property owner in Mexico unless you're a national, like a Mexican national, or you have your citizenship. So I'm gonna get dual citizenship so that I can actually buy property.
No, that's
in Cabo.
great.
So that's one of my not long term but kind of long term goals over the next 5 or 10 years. Get my citizenship there, buy a piece of land. I got brothers that live there actually, so they could manage it for me and hang 100%. Out there. And
I've even heard like Tulum and other areas.
Oh, for sure. Where's your family from?
So my family's from the Mexico City, Estado de Mexico region, and yeah, that's where they reside, man. So it's cool to see and hear where everybody's from when you talk to somebody in the Hispanic community.
Yeah. Now that you've been in the industry for how long? You been in the industry?
Maybe
coming up on 2 years.
I'm still considered a baby in this industry. I'm about like a year and a half right now, so I'm still a baby.
Tell me, what are your initial thoughts of the industry so far? Because clearly we got into the industry at one of the tougher times. You and I both started pretty much around the same time.
Yeah.
We were coming off of a big boom during COVID, where at least in the mortgage industry, where people were doing refis nonstop, money was knocking at your door. You didn't have to do anything. Your phone was ringing nonstop, and people were cashing big paychecks. We kind of came into the industry right after that big boom, where all of a sudden things really slowed down. And all of a sudden, if you ask anybody who's been in the game for 20 or 30 years and they went through the 08 financial crisis, they're going to tell you that what they've seen over these last couple of years has been way more difficult than anything they've seen in the industry. So tell me what your insights feel like and what your experience has been so far, when this is all that you know. This is the only environment that you've ever worked in.
Yeah, no, so it's funny you say that. So I got my license in like late June of 2023, and it was definitely at a slower time as far as real estate locally. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it was definitely wild because some of my mentors have gone through the crisis, and for them it was also a huge adjustment. And for me, it's just been trying to soak in as much as I can from mentors, resources, and just trying to adapt as I go, because this time period is definitely unforeseen, because there's a lot of, unaffordability. There's a lot of barriers to entry in the real estate market. And so that's just something that I'm having to adapt with. And it's been kind of, for me, I like to put it in a positive mind frame that I joined at a hard time. So it's helped me propel some of my skills, like at adapting in harsh environments. So I hope that will help me when things cool off a little bit.
Would you say the majority of your clients are first-time homeowners?
No, so I've had a mix of different clients. I've had people that have bought their third home. I've had people that have bought their second or first, and so it's been a mix. So like, I haven't had that true first-time home buyer. If you're out there, I'd love to help, but yeah, I mean, I haven't yet, but I'm still waiting on that.
So my question leading off of that was going to be, what are the challenges that you're seeing for some of these guys? I know home affordability in our market has been extremely tough.
Yeah, it's been tough.
And you and I have lived here our entire lives, and we've watched it continue to grow. I mean, I bought my house in 2017. I bought it for $149,000, and now it's probably worth, if you look at Zillow, probably $350,000, $360,000. So I mean, I've doubled or almost tripled up in value on my house. But there's a lot of people who will lament the fact that they weren't able to buy in 2017 or before that,
or
and they think that they've missed the boat because prices continue to go up. What would you say to someone in that situation who thinks that they missed the boat of being able to buy a house at an affordable price, and now the median household price around here is $350,000, $400,000?
Yeah. I would say the number one thing is talk with a lender. Well, obviously connect with a real estate agent, and then have them connect you with a trusted lender, because one of the main things a lender will help you do is kind of just understand the picture, and will kind of guide you whether you can buy right now or how you can get to that point. And that was the biggest thing, actually. That's funny you say that, because one of my clients that I recently just helped, he thought he couldn't. He thought he was out and about, would never be able to buy in this environment.
Yeah, I think I know which client you were talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, we actually worked on that specific client together, and the best part is that it was just all about educating and giving him the proper guidance to be able to make the right decisions. And so ultimately with him is we changed his whole outlook on the home buying process and what it takes. And so if you're thinking about, man, I can't do it right now, it's just the best way to think about it is I'm just going to get as educated as possible. I'm going to reach out to a real estate agent that I trust, and then hopefully or reach out to a lender that you know, and then just get connected and get plugged in, get a plan in place.
Yeah, I mean, that experience, what I really appreciated about that experience that we just went through and that client that we just helped was those are the type of situations that you truly feel good about after you're done, because
100%.
it was someone who truly had kind of lost hope on being able to buy. They thought the market had kind of passed them by. They weren't going to be able to get something within their budget, within their price range. And we were able to not only go through his financing and make sure that we got him approved for the most amount that he could actually afford.
Right.
And actually, he could afford more than he wanted. We really wanted to keep his ideal monthly payment to the place that he was comfortable with. He could have afforded a lot more as far as from our qualifying standpoints.
Right.
But we were able to find him a monthly payment that he was comfortable with. You were then able to go out and find a property that fit exactly what he was looking for. He was able to get it in Caldwell. He thought he was going to be able to have to buy out in the Homedales or the Marsings of the world, and he was actually able to get it in Caldwell. So, and he was super appreciative and super grateful, and those are the situations that I love when we are able to close those ones, and it makes me feel good about what we do.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's a great question to kind of keep going is like, you know, why do we do these? Why do we do this, right? And it's to ultimately help people get their foot in the door into one of their biggest investments of their life.
For real, I'm passionate about it. Like,
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, and they probably think I'm corny and that I'm just trying to like lead
you
them,
are a little
lead them on.
corny.
But
I was kidding.
I mean, I am a little corny. But at the end of the day, I'm passionate about home ownership. I truly think that should be not everyone's goal, because it's not right for everybody. It's truly not right for everybody. And so I don't want to come out here and say that renting is absolutely awful and that you should never rent. Renting makes sense for certain subset of people. It depends on your situation. But if you're able to buy, and the quicker that you can get into the market, the better. It's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are lamenting right now not being able to buy a house from 2017. The people who bought in 2017, they were lamenting not being able to buy in 2009. You know what I mean? Because they were saying, man, during the 2008, 2009, 2010 crash, I could have bought that same house for $49,000.
Right.
Well, guess what? In 2017, now my house was worth $149,000. I wasn't going to sit around and be like, dang, I should have bought a house in 2009.
Yeah.
I couldn't. But you know what people are going to say? There was that stat going around. I think Realtor.com put it out, and it was talking about the top 10 cities who are going to be over $1 million price point in the next 10 years, in 2030 or whatever. And Boise was at the top of that list.
Yeah.
That the median home price point in Boise is supposed to be over $1 million in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about lamenting not being able to buy in 2017, and now we're in 2024, what do you think people are going to say 10 years from now? We're in 2034, and now the median home price is over $1 million. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Like,
no, that's gonna be crazy, and I'm curious to see how this valley is just gonna continue to grow. Like we're seeing immense growth since 2017, and so. Yeah, if the way things are going, they keep going, we're going to be there.
And at the end of the day, for young people, I still want to consider myself a young person.
Yeah,
At age 30,
we'll
age
see
30,
about
age
that.
37 is still a little young, but I still want to consider myself a young person in the fact that if we're going to be in an area, especially in what we do, we want to be in an area that's growing.
Right.
Why would we want to be in an area that's dying, that people don't want to be in, that
Exactly.
people are leaving? We want to be in a place that's thriving, where the economy is strong, where there are jobs to be had, where I'm excited for what the next 10, 15, 20 years in this valley is going to produce. Now, I get it. It comes with a lot of the headaches, and people who have grown up here their entire lives, they're starting to feel priced out of the market, or they're feeling like Californians are coming in and buying up all the land, and they're losing out on opportunities. But guess what? Like, that's not going to stop.
Right.
You can't just make excuses over it and blame, Californians are coming in and taking our properties or whatever. Like, you want to do something about it, let's put a plan in place.
Right.
You want to be that first-time home buyer, put a plan in place now. Whether that's going to take you a year from now or 2 years from now, great. Make sure you have a plan in place.
Yeah.
If you're serious about being a homeowner and you're serious about buying a home and making that investment into your future, then put a plan in place, whether it's 1 year from now, 2 years from now, even 5 years from now. At least you've got a goal, you've got something that you're working towards. Because I can tell you that the quicker you get in, the better off you're going to be. You don't always have to find your perfect house at the beginning either. That's one of the toughest problems we have right now. I'm working with a couple of friends of mine who right now are trying to buy their first home, and don't get me wrong. Well, I get it. You're making the biggest purchase of your life. Take your time. Find the property that makes the most sense for you.
Yeah, 100%.
But also, they're nitpicking so many different things about the properties that they're looking at. And what I try to coach them and try to instill in them is that this is your first time, this is your first home. You're not going to be here for another 20, 30 years. You're going to be able to get into the market. That house is going to appreciate with the market. Right. And now because you were able to purchase at whatever time you were able to purchase, 5, 6, 7 years from now, you'll be able to capitalize on the appreciation that the market has had. And now you'll be looking for your second home purchase. Yeah. This first home purchase doesn't have to be the perfect forever home. And especially if you're trying to do everything you can to just get into the market, find a place, fits in your budget, get into the market, and let appreciation do its thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Moral of the story, everybody, is if you don't have a plan in place, now's the time to do it, especially heading into 2025. Moral of the story, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, well, I want to go back to this guy living in a small town. So how is it living in a small town and having to kind of be out there, man?
I mean, there's nothing to do when you're in high school in particular. All you do is
you guys just do bonfires out there?
Man, bonfires and alcohol parties for when you're kids. I mean, that's kind of what you do in these small towns. I mean, people play sports for sure. And I'm not saying that everybody's out there drinking out in these hills, but yeah, that's
just
definitely
you and your friends.
Yeah. Definitely one of the things that people do out there. But it's the small town feel, man. The good thing is that our valley is not very big. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, Homedale's small and it's out there. From right now we're in Eagle, Idaho. To get out to Homedale, I mean, it's a 50-minute drive, maybe even close to an hour drive.
Probably an hour now.
But where I live in Nampa, I mean, it's 25 minutes to get to Homedale.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, my first job was at a freaking Mickey D's in Caldwell, and so I had to drive to Caldwell every single day, which is a 20-minute drive. You get used to it. What I find is that people in the valley, like if you grow up in the Boise Meridian area, that's all you know is Boise and Meridian. You don't ever leave Boise and Meridian. Yeah. But the folks that grow up in the Marsing, the Homedales, the Parmas, the Wilder, they know the entire valley.
You guys are a different breed.
Because you have to. You have to. But also, I mean, there's fun stuff to do out there, man. The Hawaiis are my stomping grounds. I mean, you can get out there, and there's tons of riding to do out there. We go shooting out there. I mean, all the country stuff, you know what I mean, that you do out there. And not to say that Boise doesn't have those things too, because the foothills are right there. Yeah. The BLM land, land is right there. I mean, there's plenty of areas out here to go riding and shooting and doing those kind of things, or riding snowmobiles or snowmobiling up here, or snowboarding and skiing up here at Bogus. Yeah. So there's plenty of stuff to do around here. But yeah, out in Homedale, there's not a lot to do, man. There's probably more bars than churches, or equal amounts. There's probably about 6 bars and 6 churches in the little town of Homedale. So that's what people do. They drink and then they go to church the next day and pray about it, I guess.
Yeah, man, I guess. You know, that's the crazy thing is that Idaho's growing so much. I actually showed a property out there in Homedale, and I was surprised to see, like...
The same client that we actually just saw. Yeah, he thought he was going to buy out there in Homedale.
I've never been to Homedale.
Oh, man, you were right down the road from my house, too.
And I was surprised that area is growing, and...
I sent you the pictures. I sent you the pictures of the property. You're like, "Would you drive out there?" I was like, "Nah, I got the intel. They're right down the road from that property, bro."
I had the intel because his family lives out there, so it was nice. But no, I mean, I'm surprised, and a lot of our area is just booming. So, and I like to see that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like the fact that I grew up in a small town, but I'm kind of a small town guy. Like I like Boise because yes, it's growing, and I don't even live in Boise. To be fair, I live in Nampa.
Or lives in Canyon County.
If I were to live in Boise, would I feel differently? Maybe, because I'm not a big city guy. I don't really want to live in the city anyways. I like that Boise's the close proximity to Nampa, so when we do want to go out, the nightlife in downtown Boise is clearly a step above what we have in Nampa. Now, don't get me wrong, Nampa's pretty dope too, but truly,
we can debate that.
If you got homies coming into town, you got somebody coming into town, and you want to show them around a little bit, you're not taking them to downtown Nampa for a good time. You're taking them to downtown Boise to go show them around. So, but I like that Nampa, Caldwell, anywhere in the valley really is close proximity to the Boise Meridian Eagle area, and you can kind of get your choice of the lifestyle that you want to live. Like I did a video just recently, like highlighting the different areas of the Treasure Valley, and it's the truth, man, because between a 60-mile radius just in the Treasure Valley that we have, I mean, going from Boise to then the outskirts of Homedale, or going the other way even to like Mountain Home on the other side, there's nothing that's more than like an hour away. You can get all the way across the valley in less than an hour. And you have your choice of being in a bigger city like Boise, being in a little bougier place like Eagle, where you get a little more luxury vibe and a little more bigger lots and that kind of stuff. Or you can get out in Nampa Caldwell, where you know the city's going to be growing. You can take an opportunity. You can take an opportunity to try to capitalize on that growth, because you're going to be able to buy a lot more house. Yeah, and then if you want to expand even further, you got the small towns out there. Now I know nobody wants to live out there. Not nobody. Don't get me wrong. There's
piss some people off.
There's a huge subset of people who would love to live there. I got family who still live there.
In the comments, don't flame this guy. It's his first podcast.
I have two brothers that live out there still, bro, and I love going out to Homedale. Homedale's one of my favorite places to still go to this day, but there's just not. We're talking about the economy, right?
He's being nice. He's hating, but he's not hating.
We're talking about the economy, and you want a place to work. Like, there's very little to work. You're gonna work at Paul's Market. Well, it's not even a Paul's Market anymore. It's an Albertsons.
Right.
But you're gonna work at Albertsons. You're gonna work at the gas station. I mean, there's people out there that obviously they do farm work and stuff like that. But if you're gonna live in some of these small towns, there's not a lot of work to go around. So that's the tough part that you have with living in these small towns. But you move just 20 minutes in to the Caldwell Nampa area, there's tons of work, tons of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And then you get even further into Meridian and Boise, and I just feel like we're growing at a rapid pace, but we also have to do the right things to make sure not only the infrastructure keeps up, but also that we are able to produce. Like, we have to have a way of bringing in all these people, but also maintain the economy, bring enough jobs in, figure out a way what we're going to produce. You know what I mean? Like, Micron's a big factor in our valley now. Not now. I mean, they've been for a long time. They've always been for a long time. But even now, because they're taking on that huge project, like, things are really starting to grow. Now we've got Amazon, who came in here 5 or 10 years ago, not long ago. I heard Facebook's building a facility out there in Kuna, not long from here. Can't imagine it's going to be long before Google's in our market, that kind of stuff. So some of these bigger companies are finding that Boise is not only affordable, but we're also pretty business friendly, because we're a red state. And so we have the ability there's not a lot of red tape when it comes to being able to own your own business and the way that you can run business around here. We're pretty friendly in that regard. Right. So I think we're only going to continue to see some of these bigger companies post up in our market, and you're going to start to see bigger and bigger presences like the Amazons and the Googles and the Facebooks.
Yeah, and then speaking of growth, I mean, what are we doing for 2025? Like, what are we?
Oh man, I'm on it. I'm excited for 25.
What are you excited? What are you most excited about? And what is one thing that you want to take with you from 2024?
I mean, so 24 is my first full year as a loan officer, right? We were talking about this earlier about kind of the production that we did in 2024 and what we're looking forward to in 2025.
Right.
And I think that because we got into the market at such a difficult time, then this is all we know, and we've been able to continue to grow our business even in these difficult times, that as soon as the market turns, that's just going to get accelerated. Right. So I'm really excited to see what's to come in 2025. It's tough because everybody's hoping and expecting that the interest rates are going to come down, and it's tough because ever since Trump was officially elected, obviously he's not in office yet, but since he was elected, some of the policies that they're discussing are kind of inflationary. So all we've kind of seen are rates start to tick up. And so it's just the sentiment to the market. It's tough to tell what's really going to happen. Right. If Trump comes into the office, everyone expects him to boost the economy. But plain and simple, when we have a strong economy, that's typically bad for interest rates. I mean, we have to balance both, you know what I mean? You want interest rates to come down, that usually means that, well, one, inflation's under control, but two, it means that the job market is a tough job market. People are losing their jobs. The economy's in a worse spot. That's the reason we have to lower rates. When the economy's good and the economy's strong and it's booming, rates are going to probably stay where they're at, around 6%, 7%. It'd be great if we can get them into the fives. I think we get them into the 5.
That'd be very nice.
I think we get a 5 note at the front of it, and I think that changes sentiment. Even if it's 5.75, 5.99, just as long as it's in the 5s. If we're discussing rates in the 5s, I think it brings that first time homeowner off the sideline to finally decide, you know what, now maybe is the time. What I've been encouraging most folks right now is don't wait for that time, because as soon as they start to see a 5% rate, people are going to come out and
everything changes again.
Floods in the market, and there's going to be so many more buyers on the market trying to. Boise's already got an inventory problem. We already have an inventory problem.
Yeah. It is better year over year than other years, but yes, it's still tight.
Yeah, so we're trying to build at a fast pace. We got to incentivize the builders. We got to give them motivation and reasons to build. I think a lot of the builders took a loss during after COVID ended and the market really slowed down, and especially when materials were going through the roof and the price of wood and the price of everything was just shooting up. There was a lot of builders that maybe took some of these losses.
Right.
Now we have to incentivize and encourage them again to truly build at a more rapid pace to keep up with the amount of people that are coming in.
100%.
But that being said, I mean, inventory is already a problem. We couple that with lower rates, and all of a sudden, more and more buyers in the market. It's going to get really difficult for people to get into that first home, because you're going to have bidding wars. You're going to have bidding wars on all these houses.
And you saw a situation like that during the pandemic. I wasn't in the industry, but I was an outsider just working in the marketing department. And you would see agents having to do multiple offer situations, and sometimes they would lose, and their client would have to potentially lose their earnest money or other things like that. And so it's a very tough and different market then, but we could see something like that, maybe, who knows? But we just have to adapt with the times, and that's something that I really want to take to the viewers. Really adapt and always have some sort of an idea of what's going on, and that starts with talking to your local real estate agent, talking to your local lender, because they are the ones that can help you and guide you and just kind of navigate this up and down cyclical thing that we're going to go through. So
even from my own personal experience, when I bought in 2017, it was kind of a hot market. I probably put offers on 3 or 4 houses before I got my house. I got beat out on a couple of them. Luckily, honestly, because the house that I ended up with was the better house. I was a lot happier in the position that I ended up being.
That's good, though.
So in my situation, it worked out great. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be buyers who are in love with this property, and it happens even now to a lesser extent, where you're in love with the property, you put offers in, and somebody else comes in and they beat your offer.
Yeah.
That's only going to get worse as we get into the spring and summer season of next year, as rates hopefully do come down and you're going to have more buyers in the market. But yeah, I do think 2025 is going to be a big year for the industry. I think we're hopefully at that point where we're finally at a turning point, because I think last year they wanted it to be 2024, and so I know we're just kind of kicking the can down the road, and everybody's hopeful that now 2025 is going to be better, but I believe that deep down, I truly believe 2025 is finally at the point, we're finally at that inflection point where I think the new presidency's coming in. He's going to do some things that will hopefully boost our economy. We're finally going to start looking towards positive things, and even if rates stay 5 or 6%, I think our industry, as far as real estate and mortgage, is going to see a big year.
Yeah, from a personal outlook, I'm just hoping that my friend group and the people that are in my sphere can take that next step. Because, bro, I'm at the age group, I'm 26. I'm at that age group where we're at the brink of getting to that point where we can buy our first home. And so I'm hoping that this specific age group, that early Gen Z generation, can start heading towards that direction, and I'm really hopeful for that in this upcoming year. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next.
Appreciate you coming in, doing this with me, man. I think this will be fun. I think this format is nice, where we can sit down, we can chat, we can sip on a drink, and we can just talk about what you're experiencing, what I'm experiencing. And I think if we continue to do this type of format, we can bring some education to the viewers. We can also just brainstorm ideas off of each other, and I think it puts us in that mindset for growth if we can just do this on a regular basis.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, one of the main things we want to get out to the viewers is we're just two guys trying to make it in this industry. We're just two amigos that are out here trying to take our business to the next level, and also uplift our community and the people that are part of our families as well. And so whether that's educating, whether that's just two bullshitting conversations right now, you can bleep that, editor, but we're just here to
we can leave bad words, bruh. Come on.
We're just here to have some fun and just talk about cool conversations, real estate, and more.